Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin Bubble News channel. These are the two groups you have to deal with. You have traditional banking, which works 19% of the time. To go public, a business needs $40 million. You should know that there is no credit and no cash on the weekend. Bitcoin is not the same thing as other money. It stands for the 21st century. I think that when millennials look at the world today, they see things that work all the time, like water, power, lifts, and the internet. It is always possible for Bitcoin to work. Why do we have to deal with banks, money markets, and capital markets from the 20th century that close at 4 p.m. on Friday and don't open again until 9:30 a.m. on Monday? It would be cruel and unusual to treat you in that way if we did it to your food, water, or air. The cryptocurrency market and the world economy as a whole have had a rough few days. The markets have shown some signs of recovery since Tuesday, but there is still a cloud of doubt and a sense that bad things are about to happen. Many experts worry that this could be the start of a long time of chaos. Even though the market is generally negative and forecasts are not looking good, billionaire business executive and well-known Bitcoin supporter Michael Saylor is still very optimistic and bullish on Bitcoin, threatening to change the very foundations of our current banking system. In its place, Bitcoin is becoming the main part of a new financial system that is based on the world's strongest network and doesn't have many of the problems that standard finance does. Saylor recently talked to CNBC about how more and more important people are openly backing Bitcoin in 2024, just 2 years after the chaos caused by the FTX collapse in 2022. His rising support is a clear sign of the Bitcoin revolution that is currently going on and is about to finally digitize all of the world's money. Our banking system has mostly stayed the same over the years, while technology has changed almost every other part of our society. Because of this, unpopular people who are in charge of the trust system have been able to take advantage of the world, taking trillions of dollars every year to fund terrible wars and keep the rich getting richer at the cost of the poor. Sailors say that the Bitcoin change is very different from this broken system. He thinks that people around the world are finally realizing how valuable this new treasure is. Saylor thinks of the 2020s as Bitcoin's gold rush decade. He is the founder and executive chairman of MicroStrategy. His guess is that Bitcoin and the new digital financial system it represents will be accepted by billions of people, millions of businesses and institutions, thousands of billionaires, and more than 100 nation-states and sovereign wealth funds. I believe that Bitcoin 2024 in Nashville a few weeks ago was a very powerful event that marked a turning point for Bitcoin. In the crowd were candidates for president, governors, senators, members of the House, CEOs, and wealthy investors. Senator Lummis introduced a strategic Bitcoin reserve bill. This is the time for us to buy in Louisiana. We had the Overton window shift happen there. On the balance sheet, it is now possible to talk about countries that hold Bitcoin. Then it makes sense for institutions and businesses to buy it too, since nation-states are going to buy it. That was really great. Well, in 1803, Thomas Jefferson paid $15 million for the land that is now Louisiana. This made the United States almost twice as big. Alaska was bought by Seward for $7 million. There is $1 trillion worth of oil under it. Cyberspace is where everyone is going to do business. Bitcoin is a valuable digital asset that is hard to get. People who want to be in 100 years will think it's a great idea. I agree with you, it's a good thought. The land is desirable. It's also possible to build a great company by buying up land that is hard to get, like Manhattan, the United States, Alaska, or any other place where you can do business. No, I don't think it's only a good idea for a country. I think it's also a good idea for a business, a person, a family, or something similar. Thoughts: this is Bitcoin development business. We are an operating firm, which gives us some advantages over a trust business. We have fixed capital, we can make money, and we can change how we run our business. Our owners want each share to be worth more Bitcoin. It makes them happy to think that getting more Bitcoin per share is good for shareholders. In other words, we're looking for BTC return. Every time we can do a deal in the capital markets, that's a promise and makes more Bitcoin. We are able to sell stock on the market for more than its net asset value. We are able to put out flexible bonds. It is possible for us to make working cash flow. Any way we can, we're going to keep making more Bitcoin per share by selling the asset class's volatility and then applying it to the base asset. We buy Bitcoin all the time, step by step, quarter by quarter. It's a long-term plan. Bitcoin's instability is a part of it, and people need to understand that. It's not a bug. In the short run, The volatility makes tens of billions of dollars available to everyone, everywhere, all the time. But in the long run, that instability is what makes assets perform better and last longer. That's why it's volatile, it works. Every other market is shut down because of the way the asset works and the way it is handled politically. The only reason it moves is because it works. It's digital capital, which is better than cash capital or physical capital. Bitcoin is an investment that you can keep for decades and that no company, rival, counterparty, or country can take away from you. So it will make your family, your business, or your country rich for generations to come. You can sell it for any amount, at any time, and in any place in the world. You can hold it for any length of time without having to run it or know much about business. Yes, it's risky, but I think the world is just now realizing how much better it is for long-term capital management than any other choice. We see Bitcoin as New York City online. There is never a bad time to buy a home in the best city in North America, where homes are hard to come by. Buying Bitcoin is always a good idea. So we'll just buy it whenever we have the money, whenever we can get money from the capital markets, or whenever we see a good chance. I believe it is very hard for regular people to time the market. The most important thing is time in the market. People can make tens of thousands of different investments, and I don't have an opinion on any particular real estate or cryptocurrency business. There is no doubt that Bitcoin is unique because it is the world's strongest computer network. It has the most power. The most electricity flows through it. There is the most computer power in it. For business, it has the most power. There is a lot of political power there. It has more power than the US Navy because it runs on 17 gigawatts or more of electricity. That makes it hardened against nation-states and nuclear weapons. I think that if you're going to store billions of dollars for decades, you should have a very strong public key infrastructure to protect it. And there isn't really a second best. It's all digital from now on. A race is going on to own online. A whole group of lawmakers woke up to this too. Senator Lummis has introduced the Bitcoin Reserve Law, which means that we can now buy in Louisiana. Trump said, "We're not going to sell our Bitcoin. That means BTC is the most valuable thing in the United States. The country won't sell anything except its national parks, its nuclear weapons, and its blockchain." The topic of talk seems to have changed, and politicians around the world are beginning to understand that Bitcoin is the most valuable thing in cyberspace. It's the next step.